Hello, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. This is Eleanor Murky and Manifest Gratitude Podcast. I'm all about gratitude. I can't say enough, can't talk to enough people about gratitude. And I am so fortunate tonight to have someone who I've spoken to before. Uh, which I got surf down here, but it's Surphia Lewis, right?
Yes.
Welcome to the podcast, and as you know, I'm always finding out about how people are living and how gratitude may affect, their life and their living. But
hmm
before I get started with that, I want you to tell people a little bit about you. Who are you? Who is Sophia Lewis? Did I say that right? Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, my name is Surphia Lewis, and um, I am a speaker, an author, and a life coach. My name that many know me by is Surf Speaks. I've done various speaking events, and as well as I did talks on the internet for quite some time. Um, and I don't know if, well, I'm making a transition right now into what I believe that God has called me to do, and that's the professional grave robber. And the professional grave robber is a woman's guide to helping them to unearth their buried dreams. Eleanor, there's so many people who have gone on and made their transition without living. They've given up all of their dreams for whatever reason. I mean, and I'm not saying that it wasn't worthy of them to do. I mean,
Right.
some of them were given up because of them having children, or they wanted to raise their family, or, for whatever reason. But I think that God has put a mantle on my heart to help those who are still here to not take those dreams and ideas to the grave with them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's so important because I look back at my life and what I'm doing now. And I was thinking, oh, so many things I, could have been doing. But I've decided to, where I dropped the anchor with gratitude, that's where I am and that's what I'm moving. But tell me a little bit more before we get into this about um, what you know and how you're going about it, and some of the things robbing that grave with.
Well, as I mentioned before, I've done many speaking events with Surf Speaks,
Right.
and I just could never hone in specifically on an area that I wanted to target. I knew that my passion is for women and children. That I knew. But as far as what is the message that I wanted to give them, what is the message that I wanted the world to remember Surf Speaks by? And that message is being also the professional grave robber. Now, when I mention this to people, immediately they kind of clutch their pearls. Grave robber. What? You're going to be digging up the dead? No, I'm not digging up physically dead people at all. In
But
fact,
dead ideas.
that's not my ministry. But my
Yes.
ministry is to dig up those dreams, those mental graves that we as women have been locked in for so many years. For, like I said, for various reasons. It could be a death, or it could be a loss, or the loss of a job, anything like that.
Yeah.
For me, and let me just give you a brief story about myself. I had to first dig up my own grave because I had buried myself in who and what I did, not who I am. And,
Oh,
and so when I separated from that organization, I realized that I had no identity that I could identify with. I didn't know who I was anymore.
wow. Say that
And
again, sir.
I had to, when I separated from that organization, I had to dig up myself because I no longer knew who I was.
Mm,
I had no clue. If you had asked me during that time, Eleanor, who I am, I would have
hmm.
told you I'm Surphia Lewis and I work for this company and I have this capacity because that's
Mm.
how I identified myself.
Wow.
So a lot of times we attach ourselves to what we do as opposed to who we are. And in doing so, we lose who God made us to be.
Wow. That is so powerful. That is really powerful. And I wonder how many people really think about that. I think we get up and go about our day to day based on what we do more so than who are we.
Yeah.
You remember what was that? The one of those crime shows or things to
Hmm.
say, "Who are we?" and that was their theme, and that's really true. I wonder how many people really think, "Who am I?" Other than your name and your gender, and you
Well,
know,
I can tell you I'd never thought about it for real. Not seriously. I knew who I was. I'm Sophia Lewis, right?
yes,
I knew what I
yes,
did. I knew, what I thought I was. But when
right,
you took away that main component of who I would pride myself as,
right.
all of a sudden the all the dominoes fell. And I
Wow,
was left like, wait a minute, who who am I now? I don't I
that
don't know. And so it's taken
is
me a couple of years. Hmm.
wow. I would just say that is really powerful. Because I've never heard anybody articulate what you just said. Who am I now? Like the way you just said that is like you're outside of a bubble. You're outside, almost
Hmm.
outside of a skin.
Hmm.
Oh, I mean, that was the vision that when you were talking.
Hmm.
It was like being unzipped from what we see. Like when I'm looking at surf.
Yeah.
When you made that statement, the visualization, the visual that I got was like unzipping of
Uh-huh.
what I'm looking at. Um, so that's really really interesting, and I wonder how many people really even realize that they're not connected to themselves, because
Yes.
too often we're connected to what we do
Yes.
and who we're connected to.
Hmm.
That's one of those things you probably heard people say. Let's just sort of meditate in that for a minute. But that is really interesting, and the same thing. I can connect to what you said when I think about manifest gratitude.
Hmm.
Because what you're looking at and what I'm saying for myself and for others, is to uh, dig up that thing that's within you and around you.
Hmm.
That's gratitude that you're really thankful for, because so many things happen in our lives and in our journey that we don't even realize that we're thankful for those things.
Absolutely.
And I think every moment and every part of us is something to be thankful for, because
Absolutely.
I was going to say, because we almost live our lives on a tightrope,
Hmm.
and it's learning how, to get off of that tightrope. And also, as you were saying, I just love the analogy I keep saying, when you're unearthing, a grave, like walking in a graveyard. Not too long ago, I went uh, down in South Carolina where my mother and her family came from,
Hmm.
and we went to the original church that they went to that's still there,
Oh,
and they
wow.
have the graveyards,
Hmm.
and the graveyard is pretty big, and to walk through there and to see so and so and born a slave, died in 1900, and whatever. But the key surf that's going through, the
Hmm.
further you go back, the areas that had not been up, with no upkeep,
Right.
literally those vaults were coming up out of the ground. And when
Mm.
you were telling, your title here, I saw, in my mind's eye, I
Hmm.
saw those almost, tripping over those vaults that
Hmm.
have not been cared for. And over
Yeah.
the years, 100 plus years, the soil has been washed away and they're wiggling their way up. And I
Yes.
said to a relative that was walking with me, I wonder what is the story they're trying to tell us,
Mm.
on coming up. And I think the work that you're doing in your title, again, is what are the lives that you're digging up? What are you digging up from the inside of people that you'll be working with as you
Mhm.
pull them out? I tell you, it's just exciting to hear you talk about it, but it doesn't surprise me because each time either talking to Wanda or you're always doing something exciting, and it's like you don't mind moving around. You're not
I don't.
stuck.
I don't, Eleanor. I have to move around because I have to see more. There's more to life than just here.
Yes.
And one of the things I wanted to share with you that I was thinking about, I was reading and doing some research on cemeteries. Did you know that there's over 1 million acres of ground that is dedicated to the dead?
Wow.
Over 1 million. Now we're not even talking about the people who have been cremated or the people who unfortunately never even made it to the cemetery.
Right. Right.
It's
Right.
just this ground that's dedicated to the dead. And it makes me remember Dr. Miles Monroe when he said the most expensive place is the cemetery. Why? Because that's where all the dreams are buried. That's where all of the
The hopes.
cures and hopes are buried. I believe there is a cure for cancer, but I believe it went to the cemetery.
Cemetery.
I believe that it is a cure for everything that's out here, but for whatever reason, it went to the cemetery. And
Yes.
so I'm here to stop that and cause women to snatch back their legacies and have them continue on after they go to the cemetery.
Amen. Amen. And surf, it is so interesting. I mean, I got my what I was going to talk about with you tonight. We're still going to get to it.
Yeah,
But it
yeah.
is so interesting that we're in this conversation because if you ask anybody who know me, they will tell you one of the things that I really like and enjoy doing is strolling through cemeteries, to
Oh.
see
Mhm.
who's there, especially, the cemeteries where our ancestors, were
Mhm.
interned. But I don't care whatever one, because maybe it's in my head or whatever. But as I go through, I pick up stories. And,
Mhm.
I wonder who or people that I do know. It's amazing that
It
we
is.
that we would have
One
this
thing for
conversation.
sure that's there is peace.
It is. And I know in the beginning I used to wonder why some cemeteries had benches,
Mhm.
and and that is one of the reasons, just to be in peace with, although I don't, I know they're not there, but
Right.
the symbol of my loved one that's
Mhm.
interned here. So
Yes.
wow, that I can go on with that forever. But when I'm talking about gratitude,
Mhm.
as we go back to the night's topic, you know how we deal with adversities, and how joy and everything, and how being thankful, almost like what you're saying about unearthing, that
Mhm.
I believe regardless of what the circumstances, what the situation may be, there's still something in whatever to be grateful for. That,
Absolutely.
that we have, all pieces. And just with your life and your journey that we've been talking about,
Mhm.
how has gratitude helped you deal with your journey? As if I can ask it,
Ab-
like that, with the personal and professional situations that you may find yourself with.
So, Eleanor, gratitude is my attitude.
There you go.
I don't necessarily appreciate everything that has happened and
Right.
everything, especially at the time that it's happening, because we can't see
No.
that silver lining. We
Right.
can't see what we're being set up for,
Yes.
right? We just
Right.
know that we feel the pain. But
Yes.
but if I can go back to 2021
Okay.
when I fell down 3 stairs and severed both of my quadricep tendons at the same time.
Time.
A 3-day vacation turned into a 3-month hospital stay where I could not walk. I had to have my legs straight out in front of me while my tendons healed in after they were reattached. And I don't know why, and I can't give you a real reason as to why. I never ask, why did this happen to me? What I did ask was, what am I supposed to learn from this?
Oh my gosh.
And I'm not trying to sound like I'm so much, because guess what? There are times I'm like, why me? Why me?
We all.
But it was this time where I was isolated
Mm-hmm.
in a town I didn't live
Oh my
in
goodness.
in an area that I didn't know, where I asked this question.
Wow.
And what was I to learn from it? Now, how does that tie back into gratitude?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that I wasn't so much on the pity side
Right.
of it all, because I believe that God had given me the tenacity to ask the question of Him, what am I supposed to learn? And
Mm.
that was able to take my mind off of the situation that I was in
Mm-hmm.
and cause me to heal all the more quickly. See,
Wow.
I remember my physical therapist and my occupational therapist, I call them
Mm-hmm.
Frick and Frack. They both stood there and told me that I was not going to walk for another 6 months.
Wow.
I had to go home, Eleanor. I said,
Okay.
and when they said it, tears welled up in my eyes.
Wow.
And in the instant that the
Wow.
tears
Wow.
welled up in my eyes, I immediately say, you know what? Uh-uh. I rebuke
Wow.
that. I'm not doing that.
Wow.
And within 3 months, I was walking upstairs to my house.
Wow. Wow. That is quite a story, because I was going to ask you a situation, but that is a situation. And now how like far from your home? I mean, where were you
I
in
was
in
at the time I was living in Florida, and I was 5 hour drive away from home.
Wow. And
Yeah.
how long did you say that 5 hours away from home?
I stayed there 3 months.
3 months. And in that 3 months, as we talk about being grateful, thankful, gratitude and stuff,
Mhm.
what was some of your process, other than, I know in the beginning, like, oh, so and so, and with the accident, but
Right.
as the process, how did that mind play in your movement, and how could, or if any at the time, fit in where gratitude enter any of your healing process?
Well, I can tell you this, that was where Surf Speaks was born.
Boy,
Um, Again, another distraction. Here I am laying in a hospital bed. As you just mentioned earlier, I move around.
yes.
And here I am in a position where I can't do anything without somebody else. I can't go to the restroom. I can't bathe. I can't do anything without someone else's help. And it was
Wow.
an absolute humbling experience. But here's another thing that I can tell you. I was in three different hospitals and having to get
Hmm.
to know three different sets of caretakers. And in that time that I was going through all of that, how about I was able to minister to all three sets at different points of time?
Wow. So you were in a healing process where they were working on you to heal you physically,
Hmm.
but at the same time, you were able to pour out to those, to minister to those who were caring for you.
Absolutely.
Wow. Now, to me, that's gratitude in all circumstances and situations because you could have collapsed into a pity party,
Hmm.
that because I sometimes I say it's okay to have a pity party, but don't let it be too long
Hmm.
and don't go, and don't go too deep because
Hmm.
sometimes we can go so deep it's going to take us a long time to claw our way out. But
Yes.
so the depth and the length, the depth and breadth of having that pity party. But I'm just amazed at how gratitude can show itself in so many different ways. Now here you've just told us a very, very brief but very profound story of your journey. And can you think, no matter whether it's 5 hours or 5 days away from your home, to be
Hmm.
in a situation where a step, a trip, or whatever created the situation
Hmm.
where you was not able to move, not able to do. And like
Hmm.
you said, during that time, and I'm sure, at the moment of impact, how you have to sort of let it roll on you before you can grab hold to you, because right now, when it happens, you're in pain, you're in disgust. But
Hmm.
I love the part that you found a way out of it. And it sounds almost so organic when you said that out of that surf speak came about. So
Yes.
there had to be something within you that you can want to share a part that made the birth of surf speaks, because
Yes.
you could have just been dealing with what you lost, why you
Yeah.
were where you were. All, there's so many easy things to roll off negatively.
Hmm.
And with the title, where you going now, look like it's still connected back, to, your journey through the injury, because
Hmm.
you're unearthing, and like you said before, there's so much that we have that's buried.
Yes.
And it's just and it's gratitude just realizing that and making a move on that. So with Surf Speak,
Hmm.
just share a little bit about that and how it's tied in, because if it's tied into you, that's automatic gratitude just based on your story. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so just share a little bit more of that somebody can take away from this conversation. uh Pick any pieces that they want to pick, because your story
Absolutely.
is really fascinating.
Well, I appreciate that, Eleanor. The Honestly, I give God all the glory, right?
Of course.
And I have to, because I know of my own self in that moment. my head was spinning because I didn't know it was so many unknowns that I couldn't even begin to process what was really happening. Um, and so one day I was laying in my bed. I fortunately had a room at the front, at the very front. So when I looked out my window, I could see all the people coming and going.
Oh,
And of
that's
course, you
good.
know, they always keep the front real nice with the
Yes,
flowers
yes,
and all
yes,
of
yes,
that.
yes.
So that was my view.
Mm-hmm.
And I I was laying there wondering what I was going to do, how I was going to get home, all of this. And I heard a voice say, "Speak." And I'm like, "Speak? What am I going to speak about? Just get on the internet." And at that time, I didn't even have a presence on Instagram. So get on the internet on Instagram and just speak. What am I talk about? So I'm having this heavy conversation in the room by myself, what it looks
Mm-hmm.
like.
Mm-hmm.
But so whatever comes to your heart, speak. And so I started doing that. That became my job every day was to go on Instagram and drop a nugget of positivity, a nugget of love, a nugget of something that someone could hold on to.
Right.
And I just did that all the time, every day. Every day I was in the hospital, that's what I did. And like I said, I made it my job to do it. And it completely took me out of all of the other stuff that was happening. It
Mm-hmm.
was like, quite honestly, I can say that I didn't like that it happened, but I was grateful that it did because I was able to, first of all, bring something out of me that I
Yeah.
didn't know was in.
Turn down the noise. I was saying in that time, it was turning down the noise on you, that you had an opportunity to do that. And I hope we find, oh, you back. Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. I was saying before we got froze, about turning down the noise, the experience, you said
Hmm.
looking out, the flowers and the whole thing. So my envision as you were talking was, turn down, everything else and leave the piece for you to come out, like that, what Aretha would say about the rose that, in
It's
Harlem
still a
that came
rose.
out of the sea. Yeah,
Yes.
that vision is what, popped in when you were talking. So
I
you
love
took that, when you said you went on, each day with a comment or something.
it.
And where else have, you taken it to use the surf speak?
I've had the opportunity to speak at some conferences. I've had the opportunity to even speak on the sea in the Bahamas.
Okay.
To and that particular talk was about fear
Mm-hmm.
and tying it into the fear because we were on a cruise, and so the fear of cruising and what does
Mm-hmm.
that really mean? Um, I just think that it is my mission to spread positivity. And I'm grateful every day that I get an opportunity to speak into someone's life and they take something positive away.
Mm-hmm. So that is speaking love, speaking joy, and speaking thankfulness, because whenever
Yes,
you can take something positive away, in any conversation or situation, I see gratefulness in that as well. That,
absolutely.
that you are in a situation to be grateful, to have that conversation, to have those experiences. And one of the things, that I'm hearing, in your voice, like you said, you didn't like it when it happened and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
I like your story about the experience after it did happen, how you were able to, separate, the trauma of the experience,
Hmm.
and take a moment to reflect and live in that time of recovery, to come out, like you said,
Yeah.
when you laid down, search spoke.
Yes.
and started its journey. Anything else about, like Surf Speak, about you that you want people to know? It was about, gratitude. This is supposed to be gratitude, in
Hmm.
times of diversity, whatever. But I think we covered it all,
Yes.
the real life journey. And
Yes.
since we're talking Surf Speak, what do you like to speak to whoever listens to this podcast?
Um, what I'd like to say to whoever may hear this is that right now, a lot of us are so unsure about so many things.
Hmm.
We don't know whether we're coming, going, left, or went. But here is what I can say. And I thought about this when you were talking about how you like to stroll the cemetery.
Yes.
There is peace in the valley. There is peace always around you. Like you said earlier, all you have to do is turn down the noise. And once that noise is gone, you're able to then hone in on the one that resides inside of you. And when you connect to that inner person, that inner man, that inner woman, that's where your peace resides.
Mm.
That's where your answers reside. That's where you can then take what seems to be a monumental problem and
Yes.
chip it down to a molehill.
Yes.
That's where you can do it. But as
Ab-
long as you reach externally, as long
yeah.
as you play out in the field, as long as you try to stay mixed up with stuff that has nothing to do with you, then that's what you're going to have is chaos. So I'm going to end that with mind the business that pays you. And that is your inner person.
That's absolutely right. That is, and that I love that what you said. Who pays you? And
Yes.
that's, yeah, that inner part. Surf, when you were concluding with that, can't rather know whether I got the right or not, but there was a sign, I think, build the fence all around me. Do you recall
Mhm.
that?
There was a song with that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
That, when you said that, that's what came to mind. So we need to build that
Yes.
fence of our own assurance,
Yes.
around us.
I think
It's
we've been
been
so
wonderful.
distracted, Eleanor. I think we've been so distracted. And, by the news, you're supposed to look a certain way, you're supposed to be doing a certain thing, that we don't take time to turn inward and ask the
Yes.
Creator, what is it
Yes.
that you have me do? What is it that I was created to do?
Yes. And we were created
Yes,
for a purpose, and
yes,
it's finding the purpose. And
yes.
I love to um, look back. When we talk about what's happening now,
Mm-hmm,
I'm old enough to know that we've been here before. Our
mm-hmm,
ancestors been here before.
mm-hmm.
Our parents been here before, and we cannot throw up the towel or wring our hands. We need to do what you just said, to have that fence, to have that assurance, and to know for ourselves and not pay attention to all the external noise. You know,
Absolutely.
to
I
live.
completely agree. One of the things that I'm in the process of doing, Eleanor, also is building a community where women ages 35 to 75 can come together and cross-pollinate generations because too many of our young folk have disregard for our older folk, and too
Yes.
many of our older folk have disregard for our younger folk.
Yeah. Just
We
remember.
all can learn from each other. We all have something that we can offer each other and teach and tell our stories. There are young people who could sit us down and run circles around us, Eleanor,
Mm-hmm.
in certain
That's
areas.
true.
And then there are the same young folk, we could run circles around them in
Right. The
certain
wisdom.
areas. We all have something to offer. And I just wanted to say this because I didn't share this about part of the professional grave robber, is that you are never too old to dream. You are
Mm,
never too old to dream. So the fact that
mm,
now is your time to do the gratitude series, everything
mm.
that you've done up until this point has led you here.
That's right.
And so you are able to now disseminate and give hope to those who don't understand how gratitude is the path of hope.
Yes, 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 because however small,
Hmm.
however insignificant it might be to someone else, it is still the path
It is.
as we go. And one other thing, when you were talking about community, that's, you remember in the older, as before we evolved to where we are now, we
Hmm.
used to have generational families, where grandma
Yes.
or someone,
Hmm.
that I'm one of those who had a grandmother in the house as
I did too.
well. Okay, so that was quite that was quite interesting. Um,
Yes.
but as you get older, you wouldn't give nothing for it, to have had that experience. You know, the time just ran away from us.
I
But
know.
goodness, I mean, it's just you just have so much, and it moves so quickly. In your life and experience. So I'm going to have you wrap it up about Surf Speak and how people might want to reach out to you. So you take it here and tell us how to reach you and
Well,
whatever.
again, Eleanor, let me just say this before I go into that. I appreciate you and the work that you're doing on gratitude. I think that there are many people who have been so beat up with life
Ah,
that they don't know how to appreciate the things that they do have. They're so focused on the things that they don't have. And when they stop, and like we talked about a moment ago, find that inner person, and then you can actually see all of the things that are have been given you that you've overlooked, negated, or
mhm.
didn't think much of. And those are the cornerstones of what your whole existence is. But you gotta take a moment. You got to. You cannot continue to rip and run and be here
Run.
and there and all over the square and think that you're going to find it. That's not where it is.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
in the silence of you.
Yes. I don't know.
So,
Keep going. Keep going.
so yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to say, because I do pay homage to you, and I do appreciate your wisdom and your knowledge and your steadfastness in the fight. I do appreciate it. And I just
Thank
wanted
you.
to say that.
Thank you. This might have to be a two-part because I have to say one other thing. What you were talking about. Have you, in your last piece of the conversation,
Sure.
have you ever experienced, like, sometimes when there's a power outage or something like that,
Hmm.
when there is nothing but stillness?
Mm.
There's no, especially in the evening, like we not too long ago, we had a 2 week power outage. I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
totally gone.
Wow.
In fact, I found somebody. It was a radio. You
Hmm.
cranked it up, and then
Oh.
then it would get a signal. But going back to that period of stillness,
Hmm.
of quiet, there was not even a horn blowing in a distance. It
Mm.
was that kind of stillness. And I
Hmm.
think what you're saying and has, part of what you're talking about tonight is going back or having an opportunity to have that kind of experience where the only presence It's you, and we know the spiritual presence. And it's amazing how you may even connect, with that because we're always connected. It's always
Hmm.
interesting when people, trying to, get us, like some people say, save or whatever, bring it in.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
we have never been disconnected. It's just been so much noise we didn't hear it.
That part. And I'm totally on board with you. I was sharing with a friend not long ago how I felt like in my youth, I was taught that I was separate from the creator, that I
Yes.
was separate, that the creator is
Yeah,
somewhere
we were
out here
strat. Mm-hmm.
and I'm here. And so I have to know. I know today differently. I know that we are one, we're connected. I'm connected to you. You're connected to me.
Mm-hmm.
Even the plants and the
Yes.
ground we
The
walk on,
universe.
it's all connected.
That,
And so now, as we move through all of this is just something that's part of what's happening. And
yes.
like you said, we've been here before.
We've
We've
been here.
experienced this before. And
Yes.
in our DNA, for
Mm-hmm.
those of us who have quieted the noise, in
Yes.
our DNA, we recognize
Yes.
that we've been here before. Now, we may not have physically been here, but we've been here
We've
before.
always been here.
Yes.
Like
So this this too shall pass.
yes, yes. We have always been here. We may not have been in this manifestation,
Yes.
but we've been here. And if, like you said again, if you're quiet enough, you'll hear the message.
Yes,
You
you
know,
will.
wow.
So maybe a few more people should go to the cemetery and just sit.
But say that again. What you're doing about the unearthing. You know,
So
you're
I am the professional grave robber. I I guide women to unearthing their forgotten dreams and their forgotten potential.
do me a favor. Say that one more time.
I am
Yeah.
the professional grave robber. I help guide women to unearthing their forgotten dreams and their forgotten potential. We have
Man,
so many gifts inside of us. And those of us that feel that we're not worthy, those of us who have been beaten by life so much where we have bought into the lie that we don't have anything to offer, I am here to tell you that you have gifts and talents that were put into you before you were even formed. And you have the opportunity today to make the decision to
oh man.
dig those graves up.
Go ahead
Dig
on,
those
sir.
dreams up. Dig those aspirations up.
Go ahead on.
Don't even worry about how.
That's right.
Just make the decision to
And do. Mhm.
and do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Surf, you were getting up there. I was thinking about the scripture before I formed thee in the belly. I knew.
There you go. There you go.
Well,
What it say? I
oh my
knew
God.
you.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
This has just been wow. Just amazing. Just absolutely amazing. And I promise you I will not sell it, but I might put one of your slogans on a t-shirt for me
Hey, that would be fine by
to
me.
move it.
I would be
Yeah.
honored to even have you do something like that.
Yes. Well, thank you again. Did you give us? I mean, I got so carried away in your last thing. How to reach out to you?
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Surf Speaks.
Mhm.
Um, I will be very shortly later this week erecting the community for the grave robbers community. I would love for anybody to join. In the meantime, you can DM me or reach out to me via Facebook or Instagram, and I'd be more than happy to share with you. I have an ebook coming out that is called The Professional Grave Robber. And it goes into exactly how you too can become a grave robber of your own grave of dreams and
Mhm.
hopes and aspirations. because
Oh,
I believe that if we can get our women on the right course of digging up all of those things that they put to the side or forgotten, and they begin to live in their authentic selves,
authentic self.
imagine the power that would be garnered just from that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Surf, I'll tell you, it's like this time we've spent together here, it's like going to church. It was like a mini revival and a reminder of what we have within us. And it
Yes,
is up to us to pull it out and say no to anyone who try to rob us of what's
yes,
naturally ours, what the Creator has given us, and what's been here from the beginning of time. Yeah,
yes,
all of this has been here. We are just moving through it at this particular time. And
yes.
there's always been a warfare. And, some people say between good and evil. And
Hmm.
it's what side you step on or what you allow to go up in here. Because to
That's it.
me, this is where the real battlefield is.
Oh, yes,
So
absolutely.
the more we hear from people like you and others with a more positive message that recognize whose we are and that we have been given the blueprint, we just have to be quiet enough, still enough to hear the word, to hear it and follow it. So thank you very, very much. I will be checking you out on Facebook and you say Instagram.
Yes.
Yes, and waiting for whatever you're going to be sharing with us. So again, thank you very much. Any last minute thing you would like to share or say?
I just appreciate this opportunity to share this platform with you. I feel that I'm in the company of royalty.
Oh, I love it. Thank you. Thank you. And I would like, as we're doing this, but maybe, Facebook platform allows a group, to have groups. And so whenever you're ready, I would like to have a group, people, on the platform where they literally can ask you questions and have a conversation, you
That would
know.
be awesome. I would love it. That's absolutely my element. Um, and I think it would be great, Eleanor, in helping to demonstrate the cross-pollination of the generations in a setting like that.
Yes, yes, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. So
Okay.
thank you, and you have a beautiful day, and keep on. What are you doing? Unearthing those graves,
Yes, unearthing those buried potentials.
buried potentials. You keep it up, and if you need an extra shovel, let me know, and I'll send one your way.
Absolutely will. Thank you so
So
much.
much already, and have a good evening.